Hey there everyone! Welcome back to another exciting video for the Shibarium community and its partners. I'm Cezanne Shib, and my mission is to spread knowledge and positivity within the Shibarium ecosystem. This video is the third of all X-Space Weekly DAO update series. This X-Space was held February 22nd, 2024.
What's up, everybody, and welcome back to another K9 Finance Weekly DAO update. You're listening to episode 6 of the K9 DAO Weekly Update, and you are here either listening to the recording or you're here in person very early. Either way, we appreciate that. If you are here listening to the recording, you got a few minutes before we're going to get into the real subject matter, because we are actually still here live, and we have to wait for just a few minutes for people to fill in to give the listeners a chance to get here. So bear with us as we go through a small amount of setup. We're going to get some speakers up here. We're going to pin some posts and stuff like that. There is some background work to do in an X Spaces, so bear with us in the meantime. Like I said, if you're on the recording, you can either listen as we go through this live like we did, get the real, in the trenches experience, or you could just scroll ahead maybe if you needed to look for the details, the teal deer, as it were. Otherwise, you're stuck listening to me as we go through the setup. Hi, I'm CryptoPulse9 here on X. I'm actually just a dude. I'm up here representing the DAO, and I'm excited to do that with you guys today. So I don't want you to think right out of the gate that I am K9 Finance. I'm just one of you guys. I'm a DAO member, and I'm up here today to guide you through a discussion about what's been going on since the last time there was a Spaces here. Now, you might notice I'm dressed a bit differently today. I'm wearing the official outfit. I think it looks nice. I don't want to say too much about how it looks, but it's nice. This time we switched it up, and Buzz is here with us, but he is here in his personal account. So now I'm riding the main account, and Buzz is here. We'll check that microphone. Buzz, are you there? How are you, sir?
Yeah, I'm here. Can you hear me loud and clear?
Yeah, man. 5x5. Sounds good. Thank you for jumping up. So as we go through the setup, it'll give him a chance to pin a few posts. We're going to have a segment a little bit after I go through some of the headlines from the week, where we're going to highlight some of the things that Buzz has been working on since the last time everyone had an opportunity to speak with him. It actually, we had a week off last week. There was no Spaces. There was a whole moratorium on information. Buzz had taken a hiatus and was working on some stuff because we grow closer to important dates and important events and stuff. So this week we have 2 weeks worth of news. So that's why in the post I even said it's too much to write. You only have a limited canvas on which to paint when it comes to how you post on X, and I just felt like we just couldn't convey it without the power of audio. So we're going to give it a few more minutes for guests to join. I still see the room is growing in attendance, so I'm not quite ready to start yet. We'll let more people come in. And again, we appreciate you guys coming in and listening. We don't want to assume you've all been to an X Spaces. There's a bit of setup. We have to wait for people to get here. We have to approve speakers. There's stuff like that that's going on. So bear with us as we get our speakers up here, and then we're going to tear into the news this week. All the news fit to bark about from K9 Finance, things that have occurred since the last Spaces, things that maybe if you're not following in the Telegram or on those channels like that you might have missed. So buckle up. Now, what you can do in the meantime that helps us, because we're here doing the news for you, you could share and you could comment. In the bottom right, you'll notice there's a purple, at least for me, it's purple right now, with a number 2 on it. That's where you guys can comment along. If for some reason you did have a question and you couldn't come up as a speaker, that's where you participate. And that number needs to be higher than 2. 2 is a sad number. And the more comments we have there, the better it is for visibility. So even if you don't necessarily have a question, comment down there. Let us know you were here. Tell us what you're into. Tell us what you like or don't like. Use it as you will. And then we will look through those as our guests are speaking. We tend to look through those things. Guests look through those, and people in the listener spots will thumb through those. You can also use the share button. Let a friend know that you're here, or you could use the emojis if you hear something you like or you want to react along. We appreciate that. Give it 1 more minute. We're gonna do a room reset and tear right into the week's worth of news. Buzz, are you ready to go?
Yeah, I'm ready to rock.
Cool, man. Me too. I know there's anticipation. I don't want to make the cliche, but there's a buzz in the air. So we'll do the room reset, and we're going to tear into it. I know people have had questions, so I've got a list of things in front of me that we're going to skip off like a stone on a pond. So as we go, you guys make notes. If you have a question, raise your hand. We'll get you up here, and we'll be ready to go. If it sounds good, I'm ready to do the reset, everybody. Hey, everybody, and welcome back. It's another K9 Finance Weekly DAO update. This is episode number 6, and we were off last week. So there's 2 weeks worth of information here. My name is CryptoPulse9. I am hosting from the K9 Finance account. I am one of the DAO members, just like you. I'm here to help you catch up on news you might have missed. And I'm here with Buzz today. Buzz had taken some time off last week, so I know people are excited to hear from him. We've got a segment coming up where we're going to highlight Buzz's Corner, the things that Buzz thinks maybe we weren't knowing enough about throughout the week. Maybe we didn't pay attention to, or things he just wants to talk about. Just kind of a place for him to unload. So what we're going to do first is you're stuck listening to me at first, because I've got some headlines and things I want to touch on, and maybe Buzz will have some things to chime in about if I mention something he knows more about than me. But we'll go through some headlines. Like I said, if you hear something, raise a hand. We'll get you up. We'll take notes about who's coming up, and we'll touch on the subject. So if you're all ready to go, grab a drink, have a seat. We're going to go. We got about 45 minutes worth of news and headlines. So the biggest thing everyone's been asking about, obviously, token generation event. I'm not going to make you guys wait. I'm not going to drag it out. We're 6 minutes in. I don't want to make you wait any longer, man. The questions are all there about when's the token generation event, when's the token coming out, and stuff like that. So the news, as soon as Buzz came out and out of hibernation, as it were, was March 7th. March 7th. So calendars have been marked. Announcements were already made. This probably isn't news to you. If you're coming in here, you probably already knew this stuff, but make sure that when people are joining groups and asking, that we're getting that answer out. And they're asking specifically what time, and that's like around a certain time. You don't need to, I don't think you need to be as specific about that when people are asking those types of questions. Encourage them to stay tuned. I find that's a better methodology than trying to give people exact times on that. So if you disagree with me, Buzz, but I just don't like hard dates, hard times. And when people are coming in looking for specific times, just say, stay tuned, follow the channels, turn on notifications. You know, if you guys are in the right place, you'll know when it's all going down. So what does token generation mean for everyone here? What does that mean for pre-salers? What does that mean for people that don't have their tokens yet? What's going on? That's probably the biggest question. Well, things like this, vesting contracts have been audited. Obviously, there's tokens that are going to be vested, and those vested tokens need to be safe. If you participated in some form of pre-sale, you want to make sure that that's all going to be safe and secure, and it's going to function as you intended to. So those contracts have been successfully audited, which is super important, because when this all happens, and we're going to touch on this too, those tokens are sent out, and those allocations need to be, you know, in a way where everybody can trust what's going on. And Buzz, do you want to talk any about the audit for those vesting contracts? I know you know some of the technicals about how that went down.
Yeah, so both the token and the vesting contracts have both undergone successful audits. The audits were done by a very, very reputable company called SourceHat. There was one minor thing that they wanted to have changed. That was changed to reflect that in the audit, and that has been reflected in the audit. It's on the footer of our website. In terms of how those contracts work, there will be, for anybody who does have vested tokens, who participated in the pre-sale, or even our treasury wallets, our marketing wallets, and things like that, they will be subject to these vesting periods that are up to 24 months. There will be a web page, like a subdomain of our website, where people can go to who do have vested tokens. They will connect their wallet. They'll be able to see how many total tokens they have allocated to them, how many have currently vested, what's the time period to the next vesting period. So that website is something that we've built. It's been audited, and it'll be launched in time for the token generation event, which is great. And it all really speaks towards the K9 Finance DAO and how we're committed to being very transparent and having a source of information where people can see exactly how many tokens are coming into circulation, how many tokens that they have, which wallets are getting which tokens, etc.
I would file that under everything as it should be, because that's what I don't want to make fun of it at all, but that's the kind of trust you want. You expect it. So kudos to getting all that done. And I do think I'm excited to see the user interface. I'm always someone that's interested in seeing what the actual UI looks like and using it and what it feels like going through there. So it'll be exciting to see as that rolls out. So the vesting contracts and token audits are in. If you want more details, like he said, there's information on the website, which we will also talk about some other things that are on the website, like the roadmap. which is live now on the website, K9Finance.com, which you could be pulling that up right now if you're just down there in the listener spot sitting at your computer. And you can check it out there yourself. If you haven't gone through it, you need to check it out. You could also look for those audit information down there as well. So another thing that's been worked on since the last time we talked is technical specifications for the K9 product are nearing completion. Now, I want to talk a little bit about when we talk about the K9 product nearing completion. This is just something I feel like I want to reinforce as we continue to get together and stuff like that. So Buzz is going to give a little bit maybe of information about what the technical specifications nearing completion means, but I also want to really focus on what Q4 means. Like when we talk about completion, we got to remember that token generation does not mean product deployment. There is a timeline that separates these things, right, Buzz? They are not one and the same.
Yeah, very important distinction. So in our roadmap, we have basically one really, really big event in each quarter of this year. This quarter is, of course, our token launching. Next quarter is going to be our product launching on testnet. The launch on testnet will be accompanied by more audits being done on the actual product itself, which, if you're new here, is an LSD liquid staking derivative product for Shibarium. Q3 will be when version 1 of the product launches, and that will be a version of our product where K9 Finance DAO is the only validator that people are going to be able to delegate to and receive their LSD token in return. And then in Q4 is what we're calling our completion of this LSD product, and that's when all validators within the Shibarium network will be able to plug into K9 Finance, and when delegators are coming to K9 Finance, they'll be able to choose a validator in which they want to delegate to. And that's really important for the future of Shibarium, because a problem that other blockchains have is they have this centralization problem where some validators can become really popular, everyone wants to delegate with them, and then they start to control and undue influence on the network. So that's something that is very important to us as we decentralize, and that is really the mission, is to bring DeFi adoption to Shibarium and do it in a way that is decentralized and proper, and it's going to leave a good footprint moving forward.
And I agree that everything there is, I love the one thing per quarter layout because it's easy to wrap your head around. But the benefit of having our weekly DAO update spaces is, and Buzz is going to laugh at me for this, you go to a lot of spaces where your expectation is to absolutely pitch the product and what we're doing in a way that makes everybody go, wow, man, I got to be a part of it right now. But I am definitely going to be the guy that ends up telling people in the community that we got to remember to remind people that are coming in that the token generation event and the product launch are significantly discrepant in this time frame, and that if these people are coming in here buying this token or participating in this up and down market that eventually is what a token buying and selling on an open market is there's going to be this expectation that this product was, supposed to be here, that it's coming soon. And we're going to have to tell people it was always meant to be this roadmap. It was always meant to take this long. So keep in mind as we go forward, just because I know in the few conversations I've had, I've seen people just in discussions that I don't know how clear it is that there's this big build up to what's happening, and that product needs significant testing, right? There's a reason the testnet gets its own quarter and stuff like that. There's a lot going on here. So I just want to remind people that as excited as we are about the K9 product and talking about what it's going to be like to have this K in bone and stuff, it's going to be us, those of us that are coming to events like this that end up speaking about the product in other places that are going to have to remind people like, hey, just stay tuned. This product is still under testing. It's not even out yet. So if you think it's cool now, or if you think it's a cool product now, or you like the project, just wait till this really rolls out. And even then, wait. Then it's going to be another thing, is Buzz has always said, wait until the TVL. It didn't take it didn't take Lido, it didn't take the Solana one we were talking about, Buzz. That's not overnight TVL, right? That didn't all show up overnight. So there's like a real slow burn with this product that's designed to take time. And I feel like I might be the only one that might bring that type of thing up, or at least I tend to be the only one. So we'll see what you guys think. If anyone wants to raise a hand and argue with me, that's what these events are for, guys. DAO spaces. It's not just me and Buzz here. Go ahead, Buzz.
Yeah, definitely an important point that we have transparently put the roadmap out there, and we put dates on roadmap items that we know that we can hit. and we know that that dates are important to people, and when dates are put out, they should be met, and they should even be exceeded. So that's very important to us. One thing I do want to touch on at a very, very high level is just to educate people a little bit on the development processes that we're using. So when we initially started the conversation around building K9 Finance with the SHIB team, and when we met the SHIB team in this past summer at ETH Toronto, from then we started building out the high level architecture. What exactly is this? How is it going to benefit Shibarium? How can we leverage other technologies and other successful products and tokens and bring something unique over to Shibarium? So we initially put that framework together. We worked with the SHIB team and some of our advisors to really fine tune that. And the next step was really in putting out writing down very specific architecture and diagrams, technical diagrams of exactly how the product is going to work. And what that allows us to do is align completely internally on exactly what every element of the product is doing. So if you picture the building of a house, this was sort of the plans, the diagrams. Where are the rooms going to go? Where are the bathrooms going to go? How's the plumbing going to work? How's the electrical going to work? So all of that is what has neared completion during this past week. And the next step for us is really in creating a development plan. So we take this architecture document, we pull pieces out, we start to put what are called user stories together and say, okay, this piece needs to be built, this piece needs to be built, and we create many, many, many user stories of things that need to be accomplished on the roadmap in an agile method. So if you use the house analogy, it's okay, first we're going to build the foundation of the house, then we're going to build the frame, then we're going to put the windows in, and then we basically come up with a sequential step-by-step plan of exactly what's going to be developed and when. So that's going to be ongoing within the next few weeks. And then just like our roadmap, Q2 is going to be the testnet launch, Q3 version 1, Q4 version 2. So that's just a very, very high level overview of the processes that we use here. And what the reason that we do that is so that when we do put dates out, it's done so in a very thoughtful manner, because we've put the thought behind exactly how things are going to be built and the time that all of these small pieces are going to take.
And thank you for clarifying that. It's dates in this industry are a hard thing for people to be comfortable with, and I'm glad you can explain it the way that you did. It wraps back up to, again, we're talking about the TGE coming up. So that's another date that people have been talking about. So let's run back and talk about more about this, because the token contract is also on pace. It's on time. The way this works is to be deployed early next week in advance of the TGE, which is coming up, so that these tokens can be, the pre-sale tokens that is, can be dispersed at least a week in advance. Now, these tokens, when they land in people's wallets, are non-transferable. There's a function that means that when they land, because they are landing early, they cannot be sent anywhere. They can't be sold. And even if they could, it's not like it's active on Uniswap or anything. So for people that may have had questions about what's going on with pre-sale tokens, they will begin distribution, but they won't be able to be moved. So that probably even includes things like wallet to wallet, I would assume. I don't know, but I would assume it does include wallet to wallet.
Definitely includes that. Really important point to talk about. So yes, early next week is when we'll be deploying the token contract. And we do this in advance so that we can make sure everyone has their tokens, everyone's aware of the contract address, they can add it to their MetaMask, they can see their tokens there. It allows our team and our advisors to make sure that we're integrated with CoinMarketCap, we're integrated with CoinGecko, Etherscan is recognizing us, our logos are proper, and all of these data integration areas across the web have all of the information that they need a good time before the token generation event, so that everything's nice and clean when that happens. It also makes it's a bot preventative technique too, to launch your token a little bit earlier and have it not be able to be transferred, because oftentimes there are sniper bots out there looking for tokens that are immediately launched and then immediately have a Uniswap pool. So when people are receiving their tokens from the presale, they will be locked, they'll be non-transferable. And then what people are going to want to look towards at the TGE date is an announcement from only the official K9 accounts that say, hey, tokens are now live. Because if you do try to transfer tokens and they're non-transferable in your wallet, you're going to be hit with errors. And if you keep trying to do it, you could have some gas fees that are incurred that actually do nothing with the tokens. So it's really important to just listen to official information that comes directly from our team and make sure that that everyone's safe and everybody's not spending undue gas fees trying to do actions that are not possible.
That's solid advice, because you would be mad if you were trying to just do something harmless or not malicious, like move from one wallet to another and ended up burning some money back and forth. So thank you for the clarification on that. And remind people as they come in, if they weren't here, if you have seen questions like that in other places, that's going to be the situation. It won't be movable until an official signal from official channels. So keep an eye out for that. Now, another thing that having the token generated early, like you said, having the contract and this early information allows us things like listings in tracking and aggregators and places like that. One would be StockTwits. K9 is now listed on StockTwits. That's something that happened since the last time we got together, and that's a huge deal. StockTwits is a major place for traders to come together, and it is a very different place than it used to be. It is not the old stodgy stock trading house of ill repute that it used to be. It's a new place. If you don't have an account over there, you should probably think about being more active over there and learning the activity parameters. I would caution, if you have not signed up, don't go over there right away and start posting crazy stuff and copy pasta and stuff like that. You will get banned. It is not it is not easy to operate over there right out of the gate. So some of you might have already figured that out. I've heard a few community members that have talked about that before, the difficulty of selectively shilling on StockTwits. It's a minefield because it's not the same. Every social media is different when it comes to how you have to go on there and the way you have to conduct yourself to best get your message across. But check out StockTwits and be over there using the $sign. K9 is what it's going to be. Go with the same tag that we'll have on our token for DEX tools and stuff like that for all tracking purposes. But that's why having the token early matters. Now, another thing that's been going on is we have got some partnerships that happened since the last time we got together. There's actually been a lot of things that happened, but partnerships, one would be CoinMerge. Some of you in here are probably familiar with CoinMerge. Some of you might not. They are a tooling and marketing partner for Shibarium data. They've got a bunch of products that allow data tracking, and we're going to be working closely with them as part of one of our partnerships that's been announced, and it's very important to track that data. So there are other projects that use this technology, and we're going to be leveraging the same thing to track what K9's doing. And we've also got partnerships, just since we're talking about them, with Sharbi. I see Sharbi is down in the listeners today in the spaces. So shout out to Sharbi and the partnership that we have with them. They've got a new bridging tool, and we're working together with them. They're the largest Shibarium coin by market cap, and we're proud to be working with them. You guys are free to raise a hand and pop up here in a little bit if you'd like to hang out and speak. Not sure if you're in a place where you can do that, but thanks for hanging out. Appreciate you coming by, and appreciate everything you guys have done to work that out in the back rooms and get that teamwork partnership right. I'm trying to say the B. I don't know if Spaces can confer that with the hard B. Partnership. I got to say it harder. So everything else basically is going smoothly. And the time that we had off, it wasn't time off. It was just time away, right? Buzz and everyone associated with these products were working, and the social community was growing. The Telegram numbers are way up. Those things are big. And getting more followers on X, working towards having more activity in the right places, more comments, more raids and stuff like that. It takes time, but I feel like everything's going in the right direction. Now, as far as check-ins every week these spaces are going to be a little bit different. I would like to eventually have community members come up here for highlights, things that they were working on this week, things that DAO members are working on, people who are thinking about proposals, ideas. This is a very dynamic space in terms of what we could be doing with our time here, because we're coming up on not even half an hour in. and we've covered a lot of stuff. Now I am going to give Buzz's corner, but that's not even meant to be a huge part of what we're doing. In fact, there may be days where he does not make it in here, and that's something that would be normal. Eventually, going down the line, this will be a very unique spaces, you guys. So feel free to raise your hand if we talked about anything that you needed clarification about. If there's something that you had a question about that we didn't get to yet, something that maybe just in the week that went by and I haven't highlighted it and you want to mention it, something that we missed out on, because that's going to happen. I'm going to be relying on you guys to help fill in the gaps, right? Is that there's more than one of me here. So if you heard something, come on up. But in the meantime, if you're ready, Buzz, I don't have any theme music yet for Buzz's Corner. I'm working on it. I'm workshopping it in my head. But Buzz is always going to pick a few things that he wants to highlight. So if you're ready, welcome to Buzz's Corner, everybody. Hey, everybody, welcome to Buzz's Corner. Hey, Buzz, how are you? Take it away.
That's awesome. I think that's even better than a music intro. Yeah, I mean, a couple of the things that I want to talk about is just generally the excitement around other LSD coins. So I'm sure everybody here follows the crypto market. That's not anything crazy to presume. But when I was looking on CoinMarketCap, CoinGecko the other day, I was very excited to see the rise in LSDs. There is a category on CoinMarketCap, which I assume K9 will be in as well, given that is our category. And I think I saw 5 different projects within the top 200 coins. Most of these projects are Solana or ETH based, many of which have market caps over 500 million, which is amazing. One of the things that struck my interest was when I was looking into a competing product on Solana called Jito. And when I say competing, I don't necessarily mean it in the traditional sense, because I think this is other LSDs or projects that we are working alongside of to make sure that we're offering a great product experience there. But Jito has $900 million worth of Solana locked on their platform. And we often give the comparable of what Lido is doing on Ethereum, because Ethereum, of course, has that early relationship with SHIB. They're sort of a sister chain of sorts. And Lido has $22 billion worth of total value locked. But when I look at other comparables of what Shibarium can be in the future, I think Solana and other chains in that regard are really, really great examples of what Shibarium could become, Polygon as well. So it really struck my interest in looking at Jito and saying, wow, there's $900 million worth of Solana just locked in this one protocol. Imagine what we could be doing in terms of locking up Bone into K9. So that really interests me quite a bit.
We had a conversation about Jito, and I know how important it is for you to track it. I'm glad you clarified when you say competitor, but not in the same way. We're not on Solana. You know, I'd rather honestly figure out a way to have a spaces with them than ever think of it as competitive in that sense, because we're all trying to figure out LSD at the same time. Can I ask you a question, since you brought up LSD, and maybe you'll have an interesting answer on this, but what is it you think that is so attractive to people about LSDs? Why are they growing in popularity? What is the catch? What's hooking people on that?
I think it's really comfortability in using non-custodial wallets. Like if you look back a couple of years ago when Ethereum transitioned from proof of work to proof of stake, a lot of newcomers were coming into the industry. And when newcomers come into the industry, they typically use on-ramps that are familiar with them. And these are places that have a typical password reset flow. So people are familiar with staking. But oftentimes they got introduced to staking when they were new to the space through products like Celsius or products, exchanges like FTX, where you were able to stake on there. And the way that they're doing these staking systems is just they're doing the action actually on the underlying blockchain on behalf of the user, and just showing some sort of representation of APY on their platform. And we all kind of know what happened there. So when the Celsiuses and whatnot were giving people a guaranteed 6% return or whatever it was at the time, the way that they were able to generate that yield was to do things like using a Lido product and leveraging the capital of people that were on their exchange to continue doing other things on top of that, and auto compounding strategies and things like that. So even though they were offering a 6% return, they were probably making 10 to 15, even sometimes 20 on that position that they were making. So I think in the time when a lot of these LSDs launched to now, people have seen the fall of a lot of these centralized services for staking, and they've started to become more comfortable using a MetaMask wallet and using these self-custody wallets. And people are starting to understand, like, wow, I can actually get this same rate of return on a product, which is actually quite easy to use once I learn it, where I'm doing it on chain all by myself, and there's no third-party risk or anything like that in terms of somebody else holding the custody of your coins. And I also just think, as a general sentiment of the entire crypto sphere, people are starting to understand the power of leverage, on-chain leverage specifically. And I think that with LSDs, it's becoming very clear that, hey, if I want to own ETH, or I want to own Matic, or I want to own Solana, and I'm a holder for the long term, I can actually lock it up in this protocol that's been audited many, many times. It's holding a significant amount of value. It's undergone bug bounties. It seems relatively safe. So I can park my assets there, and then I can go get this LSD token in return and start using it within that ecosystem. And I think a lot of the popularity comes with people using that token for auto compounding strategies. So taking your staked ETH, or in our case, our K9 Bone, and using that on a DEX like Mars Swap or Shiba Swap 2.0 to start farming more tokens and earn even more yield off of your tokens. So I think people are starting to understand this concept of, hey, I own an asset, say a house, and I can take that equity out of the house and put it into an investment property. Or I heard an interesting analogy the other day where it was like if you owned a really, really rare car, say a Ferrari or something like that, and you always keep it in your garage, but for some reason, because you own this Ferrari, they allow you to drive around a Honda Civic every single day to get to and from work, but your Ferrari is nice and safe at home. So I think that there's this bubbling effect of people understanding, hey, these yields from these projects a couple years ago, like Celsius and whatnot, were cool, but I can actually do it myself, and I can do it on chain, and I'm becoming comfortable with this. So I think there's many different effects that are doing that, but it's just nice to see the spotlight of LSDs lately.
And the way you brought that home at the end is a great segue into one of the questions that someone had in the comments in the bottom right corner of my spaces down there. And it's a question that I think we're going to encounter over and over and over. And there's nothing wrong with that. It's just, as people that are in the Telegram and stuff, when new people show up, you just need to be ready to answer this one. It seems like a basic question, but how is, and I'm not asking you, I'm going to take a shot at this, Buzz, because I should be able to answer this one pretty easily. How is this product designed to help bone holders? And I think you just actually kind of said it in so many words there. But the long and short of it is, it's going to give you a place to park your bone, but still go play in a sandbox using that equity. That's the easiest way to explain it. It's, if you have bone, but you've just been sitting there staring at it and wondering what to do with it, this gives you a place that you can go and at least transfer it across and get this KN bone, if you think of it that way, and do something with it. So to answer that question in the shortest way possible to the comments down there, it's going to give you something to finally do with it. And I think once like I said, when we get the time frame and this software is out and we can finally try this product, there's going to be a slower adoption curve. It's going to take understanding, and people are going to have to start, seeing, like you described, the farming on other dexes and stuff like that, tripling up on all the ways that they can possibly find yield on this stuff. It'll be interesting. It'll be a lot of people sniffing around for gains. That's what I know. So keep asking questions if you guys have anything down there. And do you have anything else you wanted to highlight, or is that the end of the corner for the week?
Well, I just wanted to add to that question as well. In regards to that being a really great concise answer. I think it's perfect. That's certainly like the first layer effect of how this is immediately going to benefit bone holders. But there's also some second and third layer benefits as well. So I think a lot of this is around transferring TVL directly to Shibarium. So people, I think in the Shib army, they're always talking about burns, when burns are happening. And the reality is that in order to have more burns, I'm getting my bones and burns mixed up, but in order to have more burns, there needs to be more blockchain activity, which means more bone being used as gas. And this is really a product that's going to foster people to use Shibarium more. And the more that Shibarium is used, the more bone that's going to be used as gas. And then therefore the more SHIB that would be burnt as well. But one of the main things here as well is that bone is going to be locked. So we're creating a product to incentivize people to delegate their bone and lock it up with a validator while still having their liquidity. So I think that we're going to see a lot more people start to become delegators and delegating to a validator, which means more bone is going to be locked. And as another tertiary effect, if more people are doing that and more people are using the Shibarium chain, it means that more people are going to have to own bone to pay for gas fees. So there's these second, third, and even fourth layer effects that can occur on top of an LSD being successful on a chain. And there's many areas in which it can benefit bone holders.
Thank you for jumping in and clarifying a little bit more of that too, because I know we could go into it. I know you've done so many spaces and so many VCs and places where you've had to explain it over and over and over again. So I appreciate the details. And to everybody listening, we all need to be able to explain it as well as Buzz does, because we can't rely on him to do it every time. So take little pieces of this every time and store it away so that you can spit it back at least the same way, because that's what I try to do every time I listen in. I don't walk away with all of it, but I walk away with the pieces. And ideally, we'll all be able to explain it and rely on the community. So as we get closer towards where I would consider the hard out for the spaces, by now still nobody's raised a hand. I'm not offended. I just assume that we haven't had any questions. Nobody wants to hang out. That's fine. But what I want to do before we go is two things. I want to go through the pinned posts that Buzz put up there, just because if they're worth highlighting, they're worth mentioning, and I want to reinforce that everybody's interacted with them. And then two is I'd like to sort of end these spaces with what we would call weekly call to action. Just some way to say, hey, these are the things between now and the next time that I think would be good. Not me like, I'm the guy who makes up the rules. These are just things that I think would be good, or Buzz, whoever's in the speaker spot, things that we think need to be focused on throughout the week. So let me get a approval for Sharbi to come up here, see what they've got going on, and then we're going to talk about the pin posts and we'll talk about calls to action. Sharbi account, good day. How are you?
Hey guys. Hey Shane. Hey Buzz. This is Crypto Hero. I was just waiting for my cue.
Nice. Well, this is it, bro. You got the stage. It's all yours.
You know what? I'm just here really to support right now. And also I'll probably speak a little bit for Sharbi and Shib Dream. Sharbi is and are ambassadors for Shib Dream, which is why we have the gold check. I work closely with Shib Dream on his project, the Shib Dream NFTs, and both of us just partnered with K9. And really, I just want to say, from us, being on Shibarium, growing Shibarium, just the excitement that I feel across the chain for this product, for what you guys are doing, and for the professionalism this team has. From day one, talking with Buzz, he's been very professional. He's very inquisitive, asks a lot of questions. He's very interested in learning about Shibarium, about other projects, about, who's doing what. And, being, early on Shibarium, we've actually shared a lot of knowledge back and forth, about how to grow, what are the best, supporters on Shibarium. And it's just been a really great relationship. So, the partnership that came this week really felt like something that was going to happen from almost day one. I feel like we connected on a very personal level, as just Buzz and Mayor, and I mean, just strike you as good people, right? And So just honored to support, to be here, and to 2 weeks away. I'm excited. I think that what is going to happen with Shibarium and this product especially, but Shibarium as a whole, everyone here is in for quite a ride from what I can tell. The growth potential is just outstanding, and excited for us all to be here.
Yeah, likewise. I want to echo that sentiment. I mean, in meeting the Sharbi team, I think it was immediate from when we first started talking that we were going to be great resources for one another, and a lot of our market research and planning exactly what we were going to build on Shibarium. It was in talking with people to identify what key problems there were, or what key barriers we needed to get by in order for Shibarium to grow and really flourish. And the two common themes that always came up was it's hard to get assets over to Shibarium, and that there's a lack of liquidity. And I think that those two problems really go hand in hand. And so I'm really happy to hear that Sharbi has launched their Fetch bridge. So this is a bridge that's going to allow people to bridge assets over to Shibarium a lot easier than it was before. And of course, for the second problem of liquidity, we feel as though the K9 platform and product is very, very well positioned to unlock a lot of liquidity for Shibarium. And this is something that has a true model behind it on many other chains already. So the problems that we were tackling and each tackling with both of these products were so synergistic that the mesh between K9 and Sharbi was just very, very natural from day one.
I completely echo that. I agree. And what's amazing about Shibarium is that the teams and the people left on Shibarium are builders, and they're patient. They recognize the growth. Speaking of like the Shib Dream NFTs, that NFT project has more utility than I've ever seen in anything, and yet because we're on Shibarium and there's only, so much liquidity on Shibarium right now, the market for it's a little slower. But, I think that realizing that potential, building together has brought together such a strength, and, everyone is rallying around this product because we realize what it's going to do. And, for us, the Fetch Bridge was such a huge thing to be able to bring, and, bringing atomic swap technology that allows transfers within 30 seconds across chain back and forth. And, removing that 7-day off ramp time was a huge thing, a huge win for us. And, we're excited about really what it can do for the chain. When initially it started, it was to, move Sharbi around 3 chains. And it became so focused on Shibarium that we've made Shibarium our default chain, on the bridge, because I think it's that valuable. It's that important to us to see that growth of Shibarium, and being on this and part of this community has really given us this need to fill these gaps and to do what we can to do our part. And a big part of that is supporting projects that are helping to grow Shibarium, with our university and with our socials. So it's super exciting. I'm over the moon about what's about to happen.
Well, I appreciate you, Hero, and appreciate all the work that you guys have done over there, not just for Sharbi, but like you said, for the bridge and for everyone as a whole. So thanks for coming up and hanging out, man. Let's go through pin posts, and then we're going to wrap it up. We're doing great on time. So pin posts that Buzz put up are things we've already talked about, really. There's one up there talking about the March 7th launch. We already know about that. I think I've said that out loud enough. March 7th. Looks like a unanimous yes to me. Ethereum Denver, because K9 is coming. Buzz, ETH Denver, what? Who's going there?
Yeah, so we had an opportunity come up, and we, of course, have a great relationship with the ETH conference series and the ETH hackathon series due to our advisor base. And ETH Denver popped up as a potential opportunity where they were able to offer us some tickets. The conference is happening just shortly before our token generation event. The timing of it was a little bit late for us to do anything official. We're still kind of fingers crossed that there'll be a couple events that we'll be able to get involved with in an official capacity, but we are excited to announce that we'll be able to send a local attendee to ETH Denver on behalf of K9 to attend all the side events and the conference itself, and start building more relationships within the ETH community, and start to let people know about K9, because ultimately K9 is a product which is going to be able to work with tens, if not hundreds, of partners over time, and attending these conferences is going to be a big win for us moving forward, and a big part of our strategy for growth. So this will be the first one that we'll have a presence at, albeit not an official presence, but really nice to be able to have our friends from ETH Denver give us a ticket or a few tickets to attend on K9's behalf, and still fingers crossed that something official will be able to happen. We have some K9 logos there, and really spread the good word.
I can speak to the importance of these events, but not just the events, but the after parties, and it's the networking and, the weeks that follow, that you don't really know what's going to happen until you find out what these people are all about outside. So it's a building thing, and as more events happen, this will be cool to see how that builds to go bigger and bigger. So let's do the other two that are up there are things we also already talked about. So the successful audit from Solidity Finance, we talked about the token audit and the vesting contract audit. So that's one of the posts up there. Make sure you guys have liked that one. And then the last one is the Sharbi token announcement for the media marketing tooling partner and the partnership that we've got with them. So make sure you guys have all hit the like button and circulated those and commented on those. It helps algorithmically and stuff like that. Now, before we shut it down, because I'm about to shut her down, calls to action for the following week. What are things that we need to think about? Well, I mean, I'm just one guy, but I'll ask Buzz and I'll ask Hero too, what they're thinking about before we go. TGE is a lot of things. It's a lot of things. It's high stress is what it is. As you get closer and closer to this event, make sure that you're sharing this information with people, but make sure you're sharing the whole of the information. Make sure you're trying to direct people to the website. Make sure you're showing them the roadmap. Don't promise moon stuff. Don't bring in the kind of people that are going to be upset. Think about what you're doing when you're out there, because I know it's going to be very exciting and stuff like that. I always end up getting the bear tag for being the one that's like, oh, you're pooping on the party, Shane. But be cool, guys. We're coming up to some really exciting times and stuff. Watch for scams. Holy cow. I'd be remiss if I didn't mention that. I know that everybody will probably catch that too, but watch for all these fake groups, fake scams, fake buzz. There's been fake buzzes. Keep your eye out for those. That's been a thing. So for me, for next week, just be ready, be secure, circulate all the stuff, and stay tuned for the next Spaces. Buzz, what would you say to everybody between now and the next Spaces? What's your call to action?
I got a very interesting call to action this week. So there is what I would call a bit of a branding Easter egg that is hidden within our light paper. And I think that I don't really have a prize sort of in mind right now for the person that finds it, but I'm sure that if somebody finds it and posts it in our Telegram, that we can come up with something cool. What I want to say about this branding Easter egg is that it's something related to our roadmap that is really going to tell the story of K9s and the story of how K9 is launching from testnet to our version 1 of our product to the full-fledged version of the product happening in Q4. It's very much so rooted in Latin terms. I will give that hint there. But yeah, I just want people to maybe go on a little bit of an exploration, take another read of our roadmap and our light paper, and see maybe where that branding type of Easter egg is in terms of how K9 is going to evolve over time.
I know that this was also mentioned in select spaces as well, so those of you might have a head start on that, but that's a good one. That'll send some people diving, and a good reason to read the roadmap and to read the light paper too. So good call to action. We'll see if anybody between now and then gets it. And then Hero, between now and next time, what would you say to everybody? What's your call to action for the week?
Well, now I have to go look at the light paper again. It's funny because I've looked at it quite a bit. We actually put the light paper up on the university as well, but I definitely missed something. So that's exciting. Excited to go check that out. We do have a space with Buzz tomorrow. I know Buzz is like all over the world in spaces right now. It's pretty awesome to see. But we actually have spaces with him tomorrow at 12 p.m. Eastern with the Sharbi video. I don't believe Buzz is going to be on video this time, but we'll be streaming it across spaces. So we have that, and I think that really, let's keep spreading the word on K9, on Shibarium, and 2 weeks. 2 weeks is a very short time, so it's going to be exciting to see the growth in the next 2 weeks.
I agree. I appreciate everybody that came out as a listener. If you are listening to the recording, please leave a comment. Let us know. We're always trying to track recorded listeners. I know that not every time zone is available all the time. So we appreciate our recorded listeners as well as our live listeners. If you were here the whole time, holy cow. We appreciate you marking the calendar and setting aside the time to be here, to be with us, to be with me. Remember, I'm just a dude. I'm just a guy up here, a community member like you guys, hosting from the account. I'm fortunate enough to have Buzz up here today to go back and forth with. Fortunate enough to have Hero, but I am going to rely more on you guys. I can't make that more clear. Otherwise, these spaces are just going to get weirder and weirder if you leave me to my own and trust that I am capable of getting weird on my own. So hopefully next time we'll get some more speakers. I am thinking about setting up some interviews with people who we have partnerships with and stuff like that to have them here from time to time. So let's see what you guys, and if you guys have ideas, by the way, post them in the chat, tag me in the chat if there's something you would want to do. Or if you're somebody you want to have an interview with here, this is your space as much as mine. I'm just the dude up here with the microphone, right? So if you want to come sit on the couch, raise a hand, and we'll catch you next time. I'll set up the spaces for the same time, same place next week, and we're going to cover it all again. You guys need anything between now and then, you can leave a message in the chat, right? Good job. We all did a great job today. Buzz, you did great. Hero, you did great. Everybody else in the listener spot, you were the real stars. I'll see you next time, guys. Have a great day.
Yeah, awesome job, Shane. You're awesome.
Thanks, Shane. Bye, everyone.